November. I'm going to be doing these to the end of December. So I guess I can start by getting the announcements out of the way. First announcement is the candle sale is still going on, just because it's the last collection. Well, this collection is going away. So these scents, these sayings, all of that's on the website now, will be going away at the end of this year, and that'll be all she wrote for that collection. Something new will be coming out. So that's that. I also have that in the description. The second thing is that the lives will be going on to the end of the year, so you can join me or you can watch the replay. It's absolutely perfect and fine, however you want to do it. Generally around this time as well, like 11 to 1, those are like the two times, so 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And yes, I think that's it as far as the announcements. I am working on a new schedule for next month, December. Yes, I am working on like December schedule. So also coming up very soon is like the group. You can look down below if you want to like support the live, support the channel. So with that being said, and most importantly understood, let's get into today's topic, which is why you don't see any changes in your 3D, or why you feel like the law of assumption is not working for you or won't work for you, which is not true. But let's get into the 3 reasons why. So number 1 is persistence. Persistence is the absolute, I can't even tell you how necessary persistence is. There's nothing else that can replace this consistency. Talent won't do it. Nothing else will do it. Like, the more that you keep going, the easier it becomes because of your old patterns, your old habits, and those old beliefs. They're ingrained so deeply in your brain, and it takes that consistency in order to break them. It is hard, especially in that beginning, because that's what you're so used to, which actually goes into number 2 is resistance. So when you start to break those patterns, resistance is created within yourself and within your environment. So that may look like you quitting, or it may look like someone that you know reflecting that resistance to you. Have you ever had that happen where like people will be like, oh, you want to do that? Why do you want to do that? Or no, you don't want to do that. You're not good enough to do that. People will reflect that resistance to you because you're doing something out of the ordinary, and your brain naturally fears change. So what it will do is it will create these inside barriers or outside barriers where you won't take action, or you'll just quit in order to stay safe, because that's our main thing. Your brain just wants to keep you safe. So while it is a hindrance, it's only doing its main job, which is to protect you. And number 3, it's going by quickly, but I do have a lot more to say on this. Number 3 is your lack of decision or direction. So this includes you saying things like, I want this, but I want to do it, but, or not even knowing where you want to go, not even knowing the direction that you want to take your life in. And it's that type of indecision that really hinders your growth, because if you can't voice your desire and know that it's something that you can have, you can't have it. It's a quote that's by Henry Ford, and it says, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you're right. So anything that you say will, just like the law of attraction, or excuse me, I'm more into the law of assumption, because the law of attraction kind of says that you have to get into this vibration, and I'm more in the mindset of, as a man thinketh, so is he. There is no other way. So there's even the vibration won't stop you from receiving your desires. If you say something, it's what you receive. But a lot of people don't recognize what they'll say, because, just elaborating on this, when you plant a seed, or anything that happens to you in your 3D or in your mind, know that that is a seed that you planted and that you're receiving it. Even if it's negative, you can say, okay, wait, somebody's saying this to me. I had that happen to me where a family member was saying and reflecting something negative to me. And I'm like, well, why would they say that? And then I took a second and I was like, whoa, I really said this. I said this shit before they said it to me, like almost the exact words. It's like they were playing out a script, and it was so like, it wasn't great, but it was like fantastic to see and recognize, because a lot of times it happens, but you just don't recognize. So you look at them and say, well, why would you say that? And would be upset with them, but they're playing out a script that you already said in your mind. So what I will say is that God, the universe, the law of attraction, the law of assumption, the law of gravity, none of that is new. Like none of it. So, and we're not even talking about like the bullshit rules of other people, which is like, oh, well, you got to do this in order to be successful. That's just a made up thing, because millions of people can be successful in a million different ways. So it doesn't take you doing it somebody else's way in order for it to be the right way. So God, the universe, the laws, those are millions of years old, and it's not a respecter of persons. So what I mean by that is, imagine a baby on a 42-story building, unsupervised, and they get up to the edge and they crawl off, they're gonna fall. The law of gravity doesn't say, wait, stop. This is a baby. Let me, stop the laws of gravity for the baby and protect it. Or, oh, well, this is a good person. This baby's going to grow up to be like Nelson Mandela or something. Like, it's not a respecter of who you are. You just act on this law and that's it. There's nothing else to it. So you are not an exception to these laws. So that's a good thing, mind you, because as you think, so are you. As you speak, so that you get. It's not saying like that's a bad thing. That's actually a terrific thing, because you're like, well, I don't have anything else to worry about. All I need to do is think about what I'm saying in the moments that I'm saying it, and that's it. I don't have anything to stress about, be worried about, or be upset about, because I know that my thoughts will eventually harden into fact. But a lot of people, they look at the 3D like, all right. I'm back. I don't know what happened. My phone just like overheated. I'm sitting in the window. So. But the replay will hopefully just mitigate all of that. But where I left off was, okay, imagine this. Okay, 1 second. Let me turn this fan off. Great. Okay, so imagine that, for this example, a lot of people, what they do is they'll see different things as far as the response that they're getting, or they'll gain the knowledge, right? They'll gain the knowledge, they'll do the things, they'll do all these techniques like learning from these books or the 5 by 55 methods, and then they'll get up from that position and they'll wonder like, okay, well, why why hasn't this changed anything? They'll write out 3, the 6, and the 9 3 times a day, whatever, but they still they'll leave that like position, and then they'll get up and they'll say, well, it still hasn't changed yet. Bank account still hasn't, blah, 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 having not even given it time to harden into fact. So that's a reason why, a lot of people just don't see any changes. As well as, I got my book right here just so it doesn't overheat again. As well as, thinking that the law can move around you. If you don't, like I said, if you don't keep that same energy, because one day you'll feel great about it and one day you'll have mixed feelings. And not to say that you can never do that, but people make that a routine so that you'll do the 5:55, but you'll get up and you'll complain all day long about work, about your kids, about your spouse, about everything. And it's like, okay, This cannot work around you, so that if you have an issue with it, it can never it can never get to you, because you're only feeling positive the time when you're doing the methods. You're only feeling positive, or you only know what you know when you're reading a book. So gaining that knowledge is different from embodying that knowledge. That's the main thing that I want to say, because I know a lot of people, they read the things, they do the methods, and they're like, oh, well, I tried it, but it didn't work. Oh, I did it, but it wore off. It's like, no, it doesn't wear off. You embody it and embody it and embody it until it hardens into fact. There's no other way that works, period. There's just no other way. And I also want to say that's the same thing like in the beginning of my fitness journey. And I know a lot of people who do this as well. That's why a lot of people quit their fitness journeys, or not even just a journey. I don't even call it a journey anymore. Personally, it's just my lifestyle. That's when you embody it, right? It's not, oh, this is something that I do in order to get this result. It's like, I do this because I feel good doing it. So that's with working out. But imagine if you're somebody who's just going in it for the results. Mind you, we all like results, so nothing's wrong with that. But imagine if you're just going in it for the results. When you go there for 30 minutes and then you leave the gym after working out, and then eat and overeat in excess into where you're eating like 2,000 calories a day, which is like way more than you personally should consume. It's like, okay, so how do you expect the scale to change? Right? Because that's what you're looking for. You're thinking like, oh, well, if I go to the gym, then I'll make the scale change, but you're still doing the same sort of habits as far as not eating correctly, or eating too much, or eating junk food. Like, all of that dead food is going to outweigh the progress that you hope to be making in going to the gym. So you just undid that whole thing. But this is the same exact scenario as the 5 and 55 method. So you do that, it's supposed to get you into, just like working out, it's supposed to get you into that higher vibration of just like, I'm feeling my desires, I'm happy about everything that I'm doing, and I'm able to, see, this is an inspired action that I'm taking. So I'm not taking the action in order to get the desire. I am in this vibration already, and I feel inspired to write out something, or I feel inspired to go to the gym, or I'm wanting to, my old habit was to be like more sedentary. So as a new habit, I just want to ingrain that in myself. I'll just go to the gym. Or my habit was to eat bad food, so I will switch that and make sure I, take up this thing where maybe you even challenge yourself, where you're actively trying to do that thing. And it does take, that's why I mentioned the top 3 things. I will restate them, is persistence, that is key, resistance to change, because your brain wants to keep you safe, and the lack of what you're doing, or the lack of your decision and direction. So if you don't have your goals planned out, that's another reason why. So those are the 3 things why the law of attraction wouldn't work in that stance, because you actually haven't changed yourself. You've only, changed a part of yourself and saying, well, oh, this is like something, but it's not a habit, it's not ingrained. You're going, or you're doing something for the result, and you're not making that a part of your embodiment. It's a difference between knowledge and embodiment, and that's just real. So that is the top 3. I'll say it again, just persistency is key. It does take a lot of, in the beginning, it doesn't take it when you embody it, but in the beginning, when you're not used to doing this thing, you have to break that habit. And your brain, number 2, wants to keep you safe, so it will make you quit. If you keep doing things that you are not familiar with, you won't take the actions, and you'll quit because you're fearful of change. Number 3 is the lack of deciding. I want it, but I want to go to this job, but I'm scared. I want to get this, It doesn't matter. People fill in those blanks with all kind of things. I want this, but I don't think I'm good enough to have it. And it's like, you can only have what you think you're good enough to have. So That is all. If you have any comments, any questions, you can leave them. I know this is like a simpler topic, but a lot of people think that this is like a new age thing, quote unquote, or they're thinking like, oh, it's just new, all this new methods, and it's really nothing new under the sun. They talked about this in the Bible and all the Quran. All of these old works was saying this exact same thing in so many different ways. So if you have any questions or need any elaborations, I would love to do that in the comments below. I've been getting so many more comments and new subscribers, and I really appreciate everything, like from the bottom of my heart. Like all of the support, it really just blows my mind. So I'm definitely grateful. Like this is something that I had to continue to do in order to make it harder into fact for myself. So I'm not speaking from just abstract or some shit I read in a book. This is my life that I live now. So I am definitely living exactly what I preach. How do I work on self-concept? Thank you so much for your comment. So how do you work on your self-concept? Embodiment. I would say embodiment is the most important thing. So you can get more specific as well on what you would like to embody. But as far as self-concept, like how did I change my self-concept? Knowing that, I heard this as well, is not trying to get somewhere, but saying that you're there is also important. So not saying, okay, well, I'm trying to become a dancer, or I'm trying to become someone who values themselves highly in the dating game or whatever. It's embodying that right here and right now and say, I am someone who values myself. I am someone who is a such and such. So it's not about even working on yourself, because I think we get into this, I talked about this yesterday as well. We get into this thing where we're like constantly trying to improve ourselves, and that's not a bad thing, but if you're constantly trying to go somewhere, you acknowledge that you're not there. So if you constantly saying like, oh, well, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, I'm not there yet, I'm not the best, like you can never be there. That's the thing that's said in the Bible too. I'm not sure if you're a Christian, I'm not, but I definitely study the Bible. And it says, to him that haveth, so shall it be given. So that's just to say you can't have anything that you already don't have, right? So if you don't already acknowledge that you are what you want to be, that you are where you want to be in life, you don't have it. Does that make sense? I'll assume that took that, made that question. Yes, perfect. Okay, I'm glad that it made sense. I'm so glad. I've seen your name before as well, commenting and, being a subscriber. So I definitely appreciate you coming to the lives as well. But yes, I would say the perfect way to change that is just to consistently, so even if it's an affirmation on my channel, that one that you actually like and take up and saying, I am X, Y, and Z, or I feel this about myself. Take that on and just keep saying it. Like I said, persistence is just the only way that you can knock out that old self-belief, because it's not that you have to try to become, is that you just have to be and have to keep repeating that to yourself and saying, this is who I am now. I don't care about who I was yesterday, a week ago, whatever. I am right now who I say I am, and that hardens into fact. So keep persisting. I know that sounds like an easy thing to, well, no, you and I know it's not easy at all to just keep persisting, even when those 3D reflections are not favorable, but that's the only way. There's no way around it. You only got to go through it. Trust me, I know. But yes, I definitely appreciate you being here. Everyone who watched it in live or the replay, you can leave me a comments. I love y'all really from the bottom of my heart. And thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Around 11 or 1 o'clock. Either one of those, 11 or 1 o'clock. Thank you.